A comprehensive guide to spring-loaded hinges at your garage entrance. Yes, this door has to be spring-loaded by code to keep the fire out with this few-hour fire door out of your house. And it does close by spring force, closed every time you come in and out of the garage. What we're going to do is take this hinge apart and have a comprehensive guide on how to preload it back up and how to take it apart, put it back together, and make sure that we know how to do that, because the movers are coming. Maybe the door has to be moved out of the way so they can come in and out with a treadmill, maybe. Who knows? So here we go. This is Lou from Lou's Tools, yet with another project. Moving to a new place, new project. And here we go. These are the tools of the trade. We need a pen or a marker to mark the pin where it is preloaded to now. There's a driver, a small driver. I'm using a M3 3mm tap. I'm willing to destroy the threads on it to push the roll pin out of the main pin of the hinge. There's a driver to drive the pin out. These are absolutely essential. Needle nose to preload the hinge and to take pins in and out, and a hammer. So here you have it. This is going to be where we marked the pin, where it was preloaded to before. The choice of color is gold. Pull that pin. Hear that spring unload. The last frontier to taking this main pin out is this roll pin right there. I've made a sacrifice for humanity and bore a groove into the brand new trim to drive that pin out. Open the door to have a better angle to drive that pin out. The roll pin is driven out of its groove, out of its hole, and it's out. Now the main pin of the hinge is ready to be driven out of the hinge body. Spring and bottom pin with roll pin hole comes out of the bottom. Keep driving. Be aware of these load bearings in here. They can be perpendicular through the hole and you won't be able to drive the top pin out the bottom. Top pin coming out. Hinge is pinless. Decisions. Do you want to do this for every hinge? Every one of these has a preloading pin and a spring. Or is it just way easier to take these out just on one side and leave the hinge in? Probably that's what I will do, but let's see how this goes back together and how to preload it. Let's pay attention to reassembly and how the spring acts on the door. If there's a pin being pushed by the door clockwise, the winding of the spring is going to be opened. If this spring is the other way, the winding of the spring is the same. Counterclockwise, counterclockwise. So if the winding of the spring is apparently, as you can see, counterclockwise, it's always counterclockwise on both ends, so it doesn't matter which way you put the spring in. And what will happen? This hinge is mounted to the door. That becomes an extension of the leverage of the door. The pin is stationary inside this pin. The door pushes on this pin, drives it back against the spring. And the spring is stopped with the roll pin at the bottom. So it is stationary here, and this is turning. The leverage is applied to the pin at the top, and the pin is effectively stopped at the bottom. That's the preload of the spring. On reassembly, find the yoke. It has to be parallel with the door. The spring hook is parallel to the door, and the hole for the roll pin lines up with the hole in the hinge. Spring from top, hook of the spring parallel with the door. Yoke of the top pin parallel with the door. Reinstall your bottom pin, the roll pin, and of course the final frontier of preloading the hinge back to its glory. Take one pin and then take the same diameter nail and proceed with preloading and pinning behind the other hole. That's why the needle nose pliers are essential for this job. Preloading and then pinning behind in the other hole. As the hole is exposed, you can see it. Replace the pin from the previous hole to the higher preload strength hole. So once you find your mark back on the inside of the pin where you marked it, hopefully you marked it better than I did, but then you'll reach the original preload strength. I pull the pins on the top and the bottom hinge for this exercise, so the preload is evident with one hinge. So apparently 3 hinges working in concert should close the door. Previously, before I took the pins out to unload the top and the bottom hinge, the door didn't slam on its own. It closed faster, so you can see that the difference is there with 3 hinges, or I can see anyway. So I hope this was helpful. Like I say, I'm gonna have to take all these screws out to get these hinges off this door. Those ones there. I'll leave the frame ones and I'll take off the door one. Yeah, just be easier, and I'll have the door off in about 30 seconds with the drill, and then the treadmill can come through here, right through to that room. I hope you enjoyed this video, because I actually enjoyed monkeying around with an internal workings of a spring hinge, and it's a lot of fun. We'll do this again sometime. Bye.